A very warm welcome, students. Let us look at today's morning paper, the 25th of July, shift 1. First question: A is coefficient of middle term in the expansion of 1 plus x whole power 20, and B and C are the coefficients of middle term in the expansion 1 plus x whole power 19. Find A by B plus C. Can we expect a simpler question? A very basic question in binomial theorem. Middle term in the expansion of 1 plus x whole power 20. What will be the coefficient of binomial coefficient of middle term or coefficient of middle term? Both of them are one and the same here. It is given to be a. Middle term is what? 20 C10. Just divide by 2. 20 C10 will be the binomial coefficient of middle term. And B and C, what are they? Coefficients of middle term in the expansion of 1 plus x whole power 19. 19 is an odd number, by 2 will not be there, just add 1. 20 is the nearest number, so 1 less. 10 and 9. So 19C10 and 19C9 are the middle coefficients of the middle terms. They are coefficients of the middle terms. So what do you have? B is 19C9, C is 19C10. One thing what you need to observe is both of them will be one and the same. So you have to be smart enough. Both of them are one and the same. Middle term, so 10 nearer to 10 is 9 and 10. 9 plus 10 is 19. So NCR, NCN minus R, B and C will be one and the same. So what we need is A by 2B. A is what? 20C10 by 2 times of 19C9. 10 factorial, 10 factorial gets cancelled, denominator 19 factorial, numerator 20 factorial, 120 remains. 2 you have, denominator you have 10 factorial, numerator you will have 9 factorial, 10. This ratio is 1. As simple as that. So, note calculations here, not a conceptually difficult question, a very easy question. Let's look at next question. This is again simple question on progressions. L is given to be 1 plus 2 by 3 plus 6 by 3 square plus 10 by 3 cube, so on up to infinity. What kind of a progression is this? This is an arithmetico-geometric progression. 1 plus 1 by 3 to 1 by 3 square. Numerators are in AP, denominators are in GP. It is a AGP. How to find sum of an AGP? Power is very simple. Power is a GP, log of 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 square, 1 by 3 cube, so on up to infinity to the base 0.25. 0.25 is what? 1 by 4. What is the sum? 1 by 3, 1 by 3 square, A by 1 minus R. 1 by 3 divided by 1 minus 1 by 3, which is 1 by 2. Log 1 by 2 to the base 1 by 4. How much will it be? It is same as log 4 to the base 2. 1 by 2. Okay, this will be 1 by 2. It is same as log 2 to the base 4. 1 by 2. So power is 1 by 2. We already got it. You are squaring it, so that means you can ignore the power. So simply what he is asking is to find this AGP. Let this AGP be 1 by 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 2 by 3, 6 by 3 square, 10 by 3 cube, so on up to infinity. How to find an AGP? There are 2-3 ways. You can differentiate GP and get an AGP, or simply multiply by common ratio. Common ratio is 1 by 3 of the GP. Push this one step ahead and write it. So 1 multiplied by 1 by 3, 2 multiplied by 3 square plus 6 multiplied by 3 cube, so on up to infinity. Subtract one from the other. 2s by 3 is how much? 1 plus this difference is 1 by 3 plus this difference is 4 by 3 square. This difference is 4 by 3 cube. Next term again it will be 4 by 3 power 4, so on up to infinity. If you take 4 common here, or this is 4 by 3, if you take 4 common here, this is again a infinite GP with 4 by 3 as its first term. So this is 2. 2s by 3 is 2. So s is 3 by 2. As simple as that. So you have to be quick with your question solving and understand what is AGP and how to find the sum of AGP. That's it you need to do. Another basic question. Again, reasoning. This is a very standard question. You could have answered it directly. It came many times in JEE Main. What is that you need to do here? P implies Q and Q implies negation P. P implies Q and Q implies negation P. See, either you need to draw the truth table or the Venn diagram or convert this into and or. Okay, mathematical conversion you do. So P implies Q. The mathematical equivalent of this statement is negation P or Q. What is the mathematical equivalent of this statement? P implies Q. It is negation P or Q. So this statement can be written as negation P or Q, and this statement can be written as negation of first one, negation Q or negation P. Okay. Now, instead of drawing the Venn diagram or doing some nonsense here, try to solve this intelligently. Here I have and means what? Intersection. This part I have Q, this part I have, sorry, this is R. Negation Q or negation P. So Q I have here and negation Q I have here. So this side elements are Q, this side elements are negation Q. Will they matter? Their intersection will be, in between is intersection, their intersection will be null set. So none of these Q elements matter, none of these negation Q elements matter. So effectively what are you left with? Negation P and here also negation P. Negation P and negation P is nothing but negation P. Option A, one liner. Understand? Here you have and here, this side you have Q, this side you have negation Q. Q and negation Q will have no contribution, it's a null set. So what matters is only negation P for you. So the statement is exactly equal to negation P. You need not go for Venn diagram. This will be a simple question, repeatedly asked. So be thorough with such models. Next question, again let us solve it in an innovative way. Sn is sum of n terms of an AP. S2, 3n is equal to 3 times S2n and find S4n divided by S2n. There are a lot of books which do in a very lengthy way, write the entire summation. Let us make use of geometry. In first paper also I told you, it is very important to understand progressions, especially arithmetic progression, in a geometrical way. When you understand things in a geometrical way, things will be very easy. Sn is sum of first n terms, third term, so on up to nth term. What is S2n? Some terms will be there up to 2n. Observe here, each and every term in this will be d more than the corresponding term here. N plus 1th term will be d more than first term. N plus 2th term will be d more than second term. So this particular sum of first n numbers, if it is Sn, sum of numbers from Sn to S2n will be Sn plus Nd. Again observe here, for sum of first 3n terms, after 2n plus 1 to 3n terms. If you observe sum of these terms, again every term will be d more than this, or 2d more than from here. So this will be Sn plus 2d. Up to 4n is what we are discussing. So this part of the summation will be Sn plus 3. As simple as that. Now what is given? S3n. S3n is what? Sum from first to last. S3n is how much? This plus this plus this. 3Sn plus Nd plus 2d, 3Nd is given to be how much? 3 times of S2n. S2n is this particular summation, Sn plus Sn. 2Sn plus ND. Now can you see 3 gets cancelled? 3 also gets cancelled. Sn is equal to 2Sn. When is it possible? Only when Sn is equal to 0. Here Sn is equal to 0. Sn is equal to 0 is the conclusion which is coming out from the given information. Now what we need to find? S4n divided by S2n. S4n is how much? This entire sum 0 plus ND plus 2ND plus 3ND. So total how much? 0 plus ND plus 2ND plus 3ND. 6ND is S4n for you. S2n is how much? This plus this. Sn is 0. This is ND. Answer for you it is 6. Very easy question, provided you do it in the geometrical way. Otherwise, you will have lengthy of calculations. See, maths, it is not simply about learning. Learning the right way, learning the right solutions is most important, and that is when the papers do not become lengthy for you. Okay, so you have to learn the right approach. Let's look at next question. If P is any variable point on the hyperbola, find the locus of centroid of the triangle formed by the point P and the foci of a hyperbola. Again, let us do something innovative here. Okay, why unnecessarily waste of calculations? We should not be wasting on calculations. Let us see how we can avoid all the calculations. You are given a hyperbola. I am not calling them axis. Let me, if at all I need, let me find the center. P is any point. You want centroid of the triangle with foci, right? Okay. S dash. Now in a general hyperbola, what happens is, this is AE comma 0, this is minus AE comma 0, this is some x dash comma y dash or x comma y. Now what will be centroid of this triangle? This plus this vanishes, right? X dash by 3. Y dash plus this y dash by 3. So there is absolutely no significance for the term for foci. Centroid as it is independent of the foci. So happily, it is just a division of x dash y dash divided by 3. That's it. So foci and everything you need not find. But here, the hyperbola is not having center at origin. Had this been center, this would have been center at origin, this would have been the case, but center is not at origin, it is at some other point. So in that case, what happens? Just that center gets added, that's it, nothing more. Just that center gets added. Okay. So center, what is it? You can find the center in 2-3 ways. Either you partially differentiate with x, partially differentiate with y, solve one by the other, or try to take 16 common, x square plus 2x plus something. So this is x plus 1 whole square. I am just bothered about the center, so I am not even looking at the constant. Minus 9 from y terms, and I take 9 common. Y square minus 4y. Y square minus 4y. Minus 9 I have taken common, minus y square minus 4y. So y minus 2 whole square is equal to some constant. I am not bothered. So what is your center? Minus 1 comma 2. Minus 1 comma 2. So minus 1 gets added, 2 gets added. Minus 1 gets added, 2 gets added. That's it. So if your point whose locus is to be found is h comma k, h comma k is what? Minus 1 plus x dash by 3 comma 2 plus y dash by 3, where the point on the hyperbola is minus 1 plus x dash, or directly if you call this point x comma y, I'll do it afresh for you. So what is the center? Understood the concept, all of you? So center is, with 16 I have taken common, x square plus 2x. So x coordinate is minus 1. Minus 10 we have taken common, y square minus 4y, so 2, this is the center. Focus will be minus 1 plus something, comma 0, minus 1 minus lambda, comma 2. Take any point x comma y here. Centroid of this triangle will be what? Let it be h comma k. We have to find locus of the centroid. So h will be what? Just add x, or let's say x dash y dash, x dash plus lambda minus lambda gets cancelled, x dash minus 2 by 3, and k will be what? Just add the coordinates again, y dash plus 4 by 3. So x dash is how much? 3h plus 2. Y dash is how much? 3k minus 4. What is speciality of x dash and y dash? It satisfies this equation. So take this back and substitute in the given equation. You have the locus ready. Okay, not at all any calculations required. It is basically finding the center, which you can just observe here and find it. Understand what locus will be and get h and k in terms of x dash and y dash, x dash y dash in terms of h comma k, and substitute it back. That's it. So little lengthy, but not completely lengthy like what others are doing. Next question. This is slightly lengthy, but again if you do smartly, you can save some time here. X square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1 is an ellipse whose eccentricity is passing through the point 3 by root 3 by 2 comma 1 and having eccentricity 1 by root 3. So what will this equation be? Substitute the point 3 by 2a square plus 1 by b square is equal to 1. This is the first condition given. Eccentricity is 1 by root 3. So 1 minus b square by a square is 1 by 3, or b square by a square is 2 by 3. This is your second equation. Okay. So b square, 2a square is nothing but 3b square. 2a square is nothing but 3b square from here. So 3 gets cancelled, 1 by b square, 1 by b square. 2 by b square is equal to 1, or b square is equal to 2. If b square is 2, a square will be 3. So complete ellipse you have, whatever calculations he wanted you to do, you already did them. What is this ellipse? X square by 2, x square by 3 plus y square by 2 is equal to 1. What will be the foci? You are talking about a circle centered at foci and cutting or touching at the points P and Q. Touching at the points P and Q. He is asking you to find PQ square. Okay. Now see, focus is center of the circle. Focus is how much? AE comma 0. AE comma 0. A is root 3. E is 1 by root 3. So 1 comma 0 will be center of your circle. Okay. This point is 1 comma 0. This radius of the circle is given to be how much? 2 by root 3. 2 by root 3. So you P and Q are points on the ellipse. P and Q are points on the ellipse whose focal radius is 2 by root 3. Radius from the focus. Focal radius is 2 by root 3. So how to find these points? PQ. Any variable point on this will be root 3 a cos theta comma a sin theta, root 2 sin theta. Other point symmetrically it will be on the other side, root 3 cos theta comma minus root 2 sin theta. So PQ, how much will it be? 2 root 2 sin theta. PQ square, how much will it be? 8 sin square theta. So if you find sin theta, you will be able to get the answer. How to find sin theta? Focal radius. Focal radius of any point on the ellipse is given by what? a plus e cos theta, a plus ex1, a plus ex1 and a minus ex1. That is the focal radius. Okay, so we are talking about the smaller ones, probably something alpha greater than 0. So smaller one, a root 3 minus e is 1 by root 3 into root 3 cos theta. Root 3, 1 by root 3 gets cancelled. 3 root 3 minus cos theta is the focal radius, is given to be how much? Radius of the circle, 2 by root 3. So from here you have the value of cos theta, 1 by root 3. Sin theta you can find out and substitute, you have the value of pq square. So let's simply look at this once again. You got the ellipse equation. Up to that part you're all clear. X square by 3 plus y square by 2 equal to 1. Let's focus on the geometry part once. Coordinate geometry is all about learning the geometry. You're drawing a circle with focus as center and radius as 2 by root 3 to cut the ellipse at P and Q. He is asking you to find the value of PQ square. Symmetrically, they will be on the other side of the axis, major axis. Any point you can assume it in the form of root 3 cos theta, root 2 sin theta. So this will be root 3 cos theta, comma, minus root 2 sin theta. PQ will be how much? Twice of this length, 2 root 2 sin theta. Square of it will be what? 8 sin square theta. Absolutely fine. Now, how to find theta? Theta is all you have to find. I have assumed only in terms of one variable, nothing else. So, how to find sin theta? This, if you observe, is focal radius. Focal radius, what is the formula? A plus or minus ex. A plus or minus a is how much for this? Root 3 plus or minus. We are looking at the minus part. He has given one side. E is 1 by root 3. X is root 3 cos theta. Is given to be radius of the circle 2 by root 3. From here you are getting the value of cos theta, substitute and get the answer. So very simple, not at all difficult. Such type of questions can definitely be expected in main. You can say moderately difficult. So this is a routine question. Next one, integration, basic integration. Integral dx by 1 plus cubed root of, many times you would have done this question, but only hitch here is 2x is there. Okay, so even inside the question itself, 2x you can call it t. Even while writing the question, don't waste time again for all substitutions. And t. T is what? 2x. So limits will change to pi by 4 will become pi by 24 will become pi by 12. 5 pi by 24 will become 5 pi by 12. This will be the new limits. Okay, dx 2x is t, so dx will be dt by 2, 1 by 2. Now if you observe, this sum is how much? 6 pi by 12, pi by 2, pi by 2. This you can see it as sin by cos, cos, cos. If you replace by pi by 2 minus t, you will get the same integral, except for sin in the numerator will become cos. If you add them, you will get back the same function. But you need not do all of this. This is a very standard question. Answer for such integral will be b minus a by 2. Subtract the limits and divide by 2. Subtract the limits, how much is it? 4 pi by 12, which is pi by 3. Pi 2 is pi by 6. One more 12 is there, it will be pi by 12. As simple as that, you need not do anything. Remember this, integral a to b f of x dx divided by f of x plus f of a plus b minus x. Whenever you are getting this question, where most regularly asked question, what happens? You can replace x by a plus b minus x. Denominator remains unchanged. Numerator becomes a plus b minus x. If you add both of them, this cancellation happens. So finally, answer you will get it as b minus a by 2. This result, if you remember, that is sufficient. So tan is nothing but sin by cos, cos, sin, sin. Okay, so it is in this particular form. Result will be b minus a by 2. B is how much? 5 pi by 12. A is how much? Pi by 12. So answer will be how much? Pi by 12. Very simple question. Okay, so you just master these things. Routine questions you should be thorough. These are the questions which you will get in all formats of the examination. Okay, find the area bounded by these two curves. One is a straight line, one is a parabola. See, 90% of the area questions, they will revolve around lines, parabola and circle, at the most circle. 90% of the questions will be around parabola. So, parabola area you have to be thorough. I will also give you a shortcut in finding this area. Y is equal to 2x square, how will be the curve? Upward parabola. Y is equal to minus 2x plus 4, how will it be? Obtuse angle inclination line. Where will they intersect? 2x square is equal to minus 2x plus 4, or x square plus x is equal to 2. Obviously, one root is x equal to 1. When you put x is equal to 1, y is 2. 1 comma 2 is 1 point. What is the other point? X equal to product of the roots is minus 2. One root is 1, so minus 2. If x is minus 2, y will be 8. Okay. So, this particular area you have to find. Fine. So, geometrically, if you have to do trapezium minus area under the parabola, this trapezium minus area under the parabola, but this is a simple integration. Let us do it. From you are integrating from minus 2 to 1. Upper curve is the line minus 2x plus 4 minus lower part is this line. What is it? 2x square dx. A very simple integral. Happily, you will be able to evaluate it. Okay. So, be thorough with such type of questions. Very simple question. Next question. This is again a standard question. Solve x minus 5 into x minus 7 into x plus 6 into x minus 4, x plus 4 equal to 504. Okay. So, here this is a biquadratic. Biquadratic is not in syllabus, so this definitely there will be some mechanism to convert this into a quadratic. So, you have to tactfully pair them. How to tactfully pair them? Observe the numbers carefully. Minus 7 plus 6 is minus 1. Minus 5 plus 4 is again minus 1. So, pair these two numbers together. What will be the advantage? Multiply these two, x square minus x minus 20. Multiply these two, x square minus x minus 42 is equal to 504. Now, you can see a quadratic in terms of x square minus x, or for sake of simplicity, if you call this number t, this number will be how much? T minus 22 is equal to 504. Is equal to 504. Okay. So, this is a simple quadratic in t. Get the values of t. Get the values of t. By observation also, you may be able to do in such questions. Let us see, try to prime factorize 504, 504. What are the factors? 126 multiplied by 4. Right? 126 multiplied by 4. Here you have one 3, it is divisible by 3, or it is divisible by 6, 60. 6 goes how many times? 21. 6 4s are 24. These are the prime factors. Okay. Now you want two numbers whose difference is 22. Whose difference is 22. So this is 3, 7, 3, 8, or 6, 4. Okay. Not very much possible. So directly solve it. T square minus 22t minus 504 is equal to 0. Look at numbers whose difference is, or use the formula t is equal to 22 plus or minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a. Okay, so you can see 1 2 getting cancelled. This will become 11 square. This will become 504. Okay, so from here you will be able to complete the calculations. Once you get the value of t, x square minus x minus 20 is equal to t. Substitute there. Again you have quadratic, so you will get 4 solutions in all. Next question is again a very simple question in dy by dx is equal to 1 plus x e power y minus x. Very standard question. One you bring it to the other side, y minus x you call it t, you can call it t, or just observe this. Dy by dx minus 1 into e power minus of y minus x is equal to x. Okay, so derivative of this quantity is what? Dy by dx minus 1. You have derivative of this quantity here. So integrating on both sides, multiply throughout by dx and integrating on both sides. E power minus of y minus x is equal to x dx integral will be x square by 2 plus c. Okay, so very deep simple solution. Here you can see dy minus dx. Take this dx the other side. If you look at it as a variable t, this is dt. E power minus t integral is e power minus t itself with a minus sign is equal to x dx integral is x square by 2 plus c. Okay, so given some constant or whatever a point on the curve, solution of the curve, you will be able to find the value of c. Okay, so this is how the paper was. None of the questions were difficult. Only thing is geometry, you had little lengthy calculations, and geometry, you always, coordinate geometry, you always learn the geometrical part, and algebra progressions, especially that ESN question was very useful provided you have learned the geometrical method of solving progressions. Okay, so learning the right methods will always save your time, and that is how you can solve the paper quickly. All the best.